absolutely agree that supporting direct services and organizing advocacy work absolutely must go hand in hand. I'm with Chinook Fund, a community foundation that's been supporting different social change groups across Colorado for more than 30 years. And we do fund a number of groups that include some type of direct service, coming from more of a mutual aid orientation to that, along with our organizing. And I think that's a really, a word that we're hearing a lot more since COVID struck: mutual aid networks, mutual aid funds. But to really recognize that word is rooted in really disrupting the typical power dynamic between a charity-based system where you have, what can be, framed as like benevolent people, donors, foundations, philanthropists, through kind acts, giving something to someone that has less than them or a community that has less than them. And at Chinook Fund, we don't believe that is the type of dynamic that's going to move us closer to liberation. And we need to be working in solidarity with communities. We need to be trusting the grassroots, listening and following that leadership. And I so appreciate, Damien, you bringing in the Koch brothers, because I just feel like in the left, we're not talking enough about why the right has been so successful and why someone like Trump was able to get elected. And all of the grassroots organizing the right has been doing, year after year, pouring so much money into. And we have this little, what I would argue in comparison, a very small effort, not very well funded in Georgia, with Stacey Abrams, Black Voters Matter, other national groups and local groups that have been on the ground working that game. And the amount of change that they've been able to accomplish just in the last couple of years, I think, is tremendous. And we should all learn from some of those lessons. And the last comments I want to make around this question that I think are something that also brings a certain amount of, even more responsibility for us as a sector within philanthropy is we have to really recognize that as an institution, or a number of institutions built on wealth that has come from stolen land and stolen labor. So I do think that when we look at different institutions in our society, that philanthropy is uniquely responsible for many of the injustices that we continue to contend with. But it doesn't mean that we're uniquely positioned to know the solutions. And that's where I think we see a lot of problems as well. We think because we control the resources that we should get to dictate what the solutions are. I would say that that's the reason we have even more responsibility to redistribute in democratic ways the power around how our resources are allocated, and not just the grant-making dollars, also the assets under management that we hold in our endowments, and other ways that we're really hoarding wealth that needs to be put to work for the good of our communities.